You're now listening to Sound Talent Media. Check out more shows at soundtalentmedia.com.
When you think about businesses that are selling through the roof, like Aloe or Allbirds, sure, you think about a great product, a cool brand, and great marketing. But an often overlooked secret is actually the businesses behind the business, making selling, and for shoppers, buying, simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. Nobody does online business better than Shopify. It's home of Shop Pay, the #1 checkout in the world. You can use it to boost conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts going abandoned and way more sales going through to checkout. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/income, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/income to upgrade your selling today. That's shopify.com/income.
From writer-director Rian Johnson.
The Holy Grail. A perfectly impossible crime.
Wake Up Dead Man has critics singing its praises.
God help me. Anything else?
It's a deliciously entertaining mystery.
That's nice.
It's certified fresh.
It's a miracle.
Okay, you're freaking me out now.
It's the best Knives Out movie yet.
This case is solvable, right?
Oh, you'll see. It's fun.
Wake Up Dead Man, a Knives Out mystery starring Daniel Craig. Now playing in select theaters on Netflix December 12th. Rated PG-13.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the podcast. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I do appreciate you. Today, I am talking to Mike Leon, who, well, we really hit it off. On the main episode, we get into the normal stuff. On the Patreon bonus episode, and this isn't necessarily a plug, though I guess it kind of is, we really got spacey, if you know what I mean. We got real weird, and it's been a while since I've had anybody who was as interested as I was in getting out of this world, so to speak. So if you like that kind of thing, maybe head over to Patreon, where for just $5 a month, you can get access to the ad-free feed and the bonus episodes that come out every single week. Mike is an interesting dude. He's got quite the career, and we get into that. Right now, he is playing with a little band called CKY, which if you are of my generation, you know all about, and they need no introduction. He's an incredible bassist, a sweet dude, and I think you're really going to enjoy this episode. So without further ado, let's get into this one with Mr. Mike Leon. Here we go! Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Tone Mob Podcast, the show about guitar stuff, occasionally, sometimes. I'm your host, Blake Weiland, and with me today, I have Mike Leon from, well, I was going to say CKY, which is the current thing, but really like 25,000 things. So, you know, I'm sure we'll get into
accurate.
that.
Yeah. Plenty of discussions to have here.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you taking the time, dude. This is going to be a good time. I can tell. I can already get the vibe that this is going to be a good episode. Yeah. So, Mike, I know this is going to be a little bit difficult to do, but let's start with the Mike story. When did you get started playing, and how did it lead into this rather interesting career of yours?
It's a long story, so I'm going to try to keep it abridged, but it's a crazy story because right now it is where it began.
Okay.
Strangely enough. But then there's an entire world of experience between the beginning and now. So I guess I'll start at the beginning.
Yeah.
I don't have like a really musical family too much. They don't perform music, but my parents are like big music fans, and my grandmother also was. And there was just a lot of music always being played around the house. You know, a lot of like Led Zeppelin, Van Halen, Steely Dan, like Talking Heads, everything. Because I was born in '87, so it was a good time for music growing up into the '90s and stuff. And so I always had kind of an affinity for music, and I loved music as a kid. So I guess when my musical career started was when I found CKY.
Okay.
And I know that sounds so crazy, but it is really true. CKY for me was like my first band that I found on my own, that I found and gravitated towards and just was obsessed with as a kid, because I like music that didn't sound like other music, and that's CKY's main forte. So I gravitated towards that, and then, you know, my dad's influence of like heavier stuff, like I said, like Van Halen and Zeppelin. You know, I started listening to bands like Metallica and stuff like that, and I was obsessed with all the CKY movies. So anytime I'd see them wearing a T-shirt of a band, I'd be like, actually back then I didn't even there was like nowhere to type it. We didn't type back then.
Yeah, I'm 88. I grew up at the same time, so
right. So
yeah.
I would go to my favorite music stores and like see like, I'd see like, you know, Malevolent Creation T-shirts, or I'd see the CKY videos and be like, hear like Dimmu Borgir and be like, what is that? Or In Flames. And then I started finding a lot of my own music, and I've really started refining my taste as like a consumer of music. So then that was about high school era. Like I'm getting into my own thing. I'm finding bands. I was playing like music, you know, like everybody else. I went to the choir in my school, and I learned music. Like that was my first introduction to like performing. And then I gravitated towards playing the violin shortly thereafter, and I really loved that. That was my first experience with a stringed instrument, so I loved that. But I was like listening to rock and stuff, and I was like, what am I gonna do with this violin? It's cool to play classical stuff, which was fun. And I learned how to fret with my fretting hand, and I was bowing with my right hand, even though I am left-handed. And I kind of was ambidextrous as a kid. I still do things very strangely. But like, because I had a right-handed violin, I learned to fret with my left and bow with my right. So when it came time to get into like a guitar world, I got an acoustic classical Ovation guitar. And I dug that, and I was playing around, you know. And I was terrible playing with a pick.
Okay.
I was terrible playing with a pick. I still am pretty terrible. I've put in thousands of hours since then, but it's not my favorite approach. So I'm playing acoustic with my fingers, and my dad's like, you know, you should try a bass, because I found Rage Against the Machine by then, and Tool, and a lot of Chili Peppers were going around in my house. My uncle Steve loves the Chili Peppers, and you know, so it was like, all right, maybe I'll try my hand at bass. And that was when it took off, and I just delved right into it, and I love bass. I've been a bass player ever since. I always played with my fingers, and I joined my first band. I played in bands with like my high school friends, but nothing of noteworthy status. But in 2007, I joined a band called The Absence, and that was my first like touring band. My first tour ever was the Metal Blade 25th anniversary tour.
Wow.
And it was The Absence, Goat Horror, Red Chord, Black Dahlia Murder, and Cannibal Corpse.
I remember this tour. I didn't get to go to it, but I do remember seeing it and being like, I want to go. I want to go.
Where are you located?
Portland, Oregon.
Oh, I'm pretty sure we played there somewhere.
Yeah.
Maybe
I
like
think
the
it
Bossa
came to
Nova
town.
or something like that, or the Hawthorne Theater.
Hawthorne, very likely the Hawthorne.
I think it was the Hawthorne.
The
that
place with no, with like one weird green room up to the left. And
Weird green room, weird divided, like 21 and up and all ages vibe.
yeah, they've changed that a little bit. It's still a weird place.
It's strange, but it's got its charm.
It does. I
And
did
it's
an
right in
interview
the same parking lot as that really amazing Mexican food place.
Yes, exactly. Yes, yes. Good times. So yeah, missed that one, but all right. We're getting there.
So that was where it all began as far as touring for me goes, and I fell in love with that. You know, that was my first time leaving the state, doing like a long string of tours or dates. I would say it was probably several weeks, potentially like a month and a half. I don't recall, but it was a long tour for me.
How old were you at the time?
I was 20 years old. I had just turned 20 years old.
Okay.
And
what
I
did
got
your
my
family
braces
think about
off.
this?
They were super into it. They always have been. My mom and my dad were always super supportive of whatever I wanted to do, especially musically. And I remember my dad being like, you know, hey, this isn't an opportunity that you get all the time, and if it, you know, you got to go try it. And if you like it, maybe you can work at it. And it's true. I mean, I got bit by the bug, and it changed my life. So I continued with The Absence for several years, touring as much as we could. And then through touring with The Absence, I ended up meeting a band called Havok, from Denver, Colorado, and I fell in love with those dudes and that music. Even though I'm not much of a thrasher, I loved how they did it. And we toured and eventually ended up touring together. It was The Absence. It was some Australian band, Beyond Terror, Beyond Grace. They were called. They were like kind of like a Bion from Australia, and then Havok, and then The Absence, Full Blown Chaos, and Malevolent Creation.
All right.
Crazy tour. Like a very eclectic tour, but that's the first time we toured together, and then I became really good friends with the guys. And then stuff shortly after that kind of faded out with The Absence, less busy, and like there was, internal drama things happening. So I ended up jumping on with the Havok guys as their front of house audio engineer. And Dave flew me out to Denver, taught me how he wanted the band to sound, how to mix. And then I toured with those guys for like a better part of a year. We did, a couple different tours. And then the time came, I guess there was some issues with their bass player at the time in Havok. And I was already kind of like right there. So I guess it was the winter of 2012 and 2013, I got the offer to play bass in Havok, and I was like, hell yeah. So I moved to Denver, and we did an album called Unnatural Selection, which was one of my favorite albums that I've ever worked on. It's over there in the corner.
Nice.
Got to work with the legendary Terry Date.
Oh, yeah.
And it was mastered by James Murphy, another legend.
That's so cool.
That was the first time I did an album that like charted, and was worth like mentioning. Internationally, and then through that album cycle I did my first international tours. We went to Europe, we went everywhere. We did a DIY world tour. First time the band went to South America, first time the band went to Australia. We did Russia, we did a ton of Europe, very crazy places, a whole Canadian tour. And we toured our asses off until about 2015, and then the band kind of took a break. And then I got the opportunity, and through that, the same thing happened. We toured with Soulfly, I believe, in 2013. Max was really interested in a single that we did called Give Me Liberty or Give Me Death. And he offered us a tour. It was just Soulfly and Havok with direct support. And we went out with them, and same thing happened again. I met the guys, and we all fell in love with each other, and super good vibes. So I continued my time with Havok, and then in 2015, Tony Campos, who was playing in Soulfly, left to go play in Ministry in Fear Factory. So Gloria reached out to me and asked me if I would be interested in doing just a tour at first. It was Soulfly, Soilwork, and Decapitated across North America in the fall of 2015. And I was like, hell yeah. And then things got kind of strange with the Havok camp as well. And I decided to just join forces full time with Soulfly. And I did, I don't know how many world tours, 2 albums, a live EP. We survived all the way through COVID, and I was in Soulfly for the last 10 years up until this year, 2025. So we got a lot done. I met a ton of people, and in that time we played a festival with a band called Igorrr from France, and that's how I met Gautier. And that's, Gautier, we also were great friends immediately, and he offered me a spot on one of his albums called Spirituality and Distortion, and I did a track with him called Paranoid Bulldozer Italiano. And I love that track. It's like Aphex Twin meets Emperor or Immortal or something. It's so crazy. And and I kept in touch with Gautier, and now we just released a new album called Amen on Metal Blade Records, and that album I have 5 songs on. So it's been pretty cool. And so long story short, I've been touring the world, cutting records with bands, meeting a ton of people, amazing opportunities, festivals and everything. And the whole time I knew the CKY guys since I was a kid. And Chad was always like, hey man, I saw, congrats on the new album, or congrats on the signature bass with ESP. And, I keep seeing your name pop up on the PRP, man. Great job. Proud of you. And I'm like, yeah, because that was my favorite band growing up. And so flash forward to this year when Soulfly and I went our separate ways. Not even 3 days later, Chad was in my DMs being like, yo, what are you up to? We'd love to have you. And I was just like, all right.
Okay.
Here we go.
Let's do it.
Yeah. So we just released a single called Can't Stop Running. My first show with the band was at Warped Tour earlier this year in Long Beach. We did a festival in West Virginia, and just got home from a really awesome tour in the UK for the last 3 weeks, and the vibes are high. The new era of CKY is sick. So I'm super stoked, you know. I'm playing in both of my favorite bands right now, between CKY and Igorrr. Like it's awesome. Oh, excuse me. It's really cool.
It's really radical, dudes.
Radical time.
Yeah. Is it something, because I mean, you've been playing for a long time and you've gotten the opportunity to play some huge shows with absolute legends, but because like CKY is coming from such a special place, like, I mean, for me, that'd be like the equivalent of like, what? I'm a member of Thrice now. That doesn't make any sense. Like, that's the band that I'm obsessed with, and I've gotten to know the guys, and they're really cool, and that's great. But there's another level of like being in the band. Like,
exactly. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Like your favorite band growing up hits you up and asks you to join.
Yeah. It's not a story that is super common, but it's also not as rare as I would expect. I've heard it like a couple times on the show. I'm like, huh, this is like that movie Rockstar with Mark Wahlberg in it, kind of. Like, this is weird.
It's true. Like, if it happens often, I would say, at least from my own personal experience, it's because this is what happens when you're true to yourself. You're true to yourself. You're consistent with what your goals are. And you'll, just be persistent, man. That's how that works, And then the law of attraction is a real thing in my world. I would say so, because every time I was like super into something, I loved Havok before I joined the band. I loved The Absence before I joined the band. I loved, I wasn't super familiar with Soulfly, but I loved Max's work with Sepultura. I mean, Rise was like a life-changing album for me. So yeah, there's a lot of a law of attraction involved, but it's just consistency and being true to yourself and sticking to it, through tough times. But yeah, I'm playing in my favorite band. That started it all for me. It's not just like a favorite band. Like when I was a kid, I would go on vacation up to Philly, and I ended up meeting people in that circle. My buddy Matt Citronbaum, he used to make the jewelry for all the CKY pendants and stuff, and he did the hood ornament for Bam on the MTV Cribs episode when he has the hood ornament on his Mercedes. That was my buddy. And he went to high school with Chad and grew up with Chad, so I met all those guys. And as a kid, I got myself into like all of these rock and roll situations that a 16-year-old kid had no place in, So that's kind of like how I cut my teeth with those guys. And, that was another taste. It was all in the same era of like, wow, this is really what I want to do. Like I hung out with my favorite band. This looks like so much fun. And then I ended up going on tour and being like, oh my God, this is what I was supposed to do. So
yeah.
Go.
I think the law of attraction thing is interesting because I think a lot of people will dismiss it, including myself back in the day, where I was just like, that doesn't make any sense. But it is nonsense if you don't do anything about it, right? If you're just like, I really like this, and that's the end of it, and you're like, I'm gonna put it on my vision board, and it's gonna you also have to do stuff. Like, you also have to do it, and you have to do it consistently. And it was kind of funny because, Spotify and Apple just did their, like, Wrapped, and I think Apple's was the Replay or whatever. And I was looking at, mine yesterday, and it was just like, I took a screenshot and put it in my story because it was just like, country, metal, punk, singer-songwriter, Americana. I'm like, this is just me. And then I go to the guest list for this show, and I'm like, country, rock, metal, punk.
Look at you.
Yeah, I'm like, it's just kind of, you keep pushing into a certain direction, and eventually, these type of things will happen. But it's the consistency. That's the part I wanted to highlight there, because you do it once, you do it twice, nothing's really going to happen. It's the consistency that actually will break down the doors and get things going for you, no matter what that project or effort you're working towards is. It's being consistent. That's the hard part.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of people fall off, And I've seen a lot of people put in good work and then get tired. You know, this is not for everybody. Truly,
No.
I mean, I've been in bands where the whole band's fully dissolved. You know, because it's hard. Being in a band is really hard because it's like you can have all the aspirations and dreams and effort that you have, but you need to find like 3 to 4 other folks that share that exact same work ethic and that dream and that consistency. And it is difficult. Like, you know, I've seen a lot of people come and go. I've replaced folks that got burnt out. I've been replaced by folks. I mean, that's how the whole business works. Like, it's like a very synergistic relationship. Everybody's got to be like on the same page, or at least in the same book. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, there's a million different stories out there, but you got to be on, like, you can be everybody's got their characters, you know. And for sure in CKY it's that way. Like, that's a perfect example. Every chapter, every person in that book is a different character completely. But, you know, you got to be in the same book to make it work.
Yeah, it was funny when this came through. You know, a lot of these interviews I'll go out and headhunt myself, and sometimes it comes from PR places and other. But this came in my email, and I was like, I just showed my oldest kid CKY for the first time yesterday. Of course I want to do this. Right?
How serendipitous is that?
Yeah. And he was like, wow, this is amazing. Look at this. You know, it was the riff, of course. That's what I had to start with. You got
riff.
to. Yeah, everybody knows it. But
when he's old enough, you can show him the videos.
Yes. We'll get he's 10. He's not quite there yet, but we'll get there.
A couple more years. Yeah,
Yeah.
because like I found it when I was a pretty young kid, and yeah. I went in my fair share of shopping carts into bushes. And
how many of us did that? I mean, I sent my friends rolling down tubes into rivers. I mean, like, all kinds of stuff is on VHS tapes somewhere. Never saw the
somewhere.
light of day.
VHS, mini DV, little tapes, you know.
Oh yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. But it's amazing how there was something going on at that time, because. And I'm not trying to be that old guy that's like, kids aren't doing this kind of stuff anymore, because I'm sure they kind of are. I mean, look no further than TikTok. But it does feel like kids aren't starting bands as frequently as. It just seemed like kind of ubiquitous. I mean, my high school had Battle of the Bands, and I think there was probably 10 bands, all from the high school, and it was a fairly large school. And all different all different genres, you know, mostly centered around some sort of punk rock, but there was a pop rock band there was screamo bands, there was us being some sort of weird hybrid of all of it, and the ska bands, and it just doesn't feel like there's a inflection point the way there was with like Warped Tour and the CKY videos, and like, I don't know, and in the 90s there was, you know, obviously the grunge era. Do you think we're about due for maybe another inflection point, for lack of a better term?
I think so, yeah. Because what you're describing is just like a different culture, you know? And culture is kind of, there's ebbs and flow to that. Things change, they morph. But then you have like the nostalgia factor. And if that's what we're kind of talking about, like, for instance, I bring that up because you said Warped Tour. Warped Tour took almost a 10-year hiatus from being, and that was like a super relevant, like, it was an event for everybody, and they built it to be that way. You know, there was something for everybody at Warped Tour, and if there was nothing for you there, you could still go there with your friends and find something. You know, you're not going home empty-handed attending a Warped Tour. You're going to have an experience. You might find a band that you dig. You'll make your friends. You know, you might make new friends. It was like a team-building exercise, and that, you know, I remember going to Warped Tours with my buddies.
Oh yeah,
and seeing our favorite bands. You know, and then coming home and being like inspired by that, you know, let's get in the garage and start riffing, you know? So I think to your point, we're about due for that. And the Warped Tour is back and better than ever. It's really easy. It's easier now than it ever was before to like make music and connect with people. You know, I'm coming from a time where it was like, we barely had the internet, you know, and you definitely weren't using the internet to like find people. It was basically to talk to the people that you already knew. So like finding a band, it was like, okay, well, who else is wearing a black t-shirt at my high school?
Right.
You know, who's got like, you know, who's riding around a skateboard or something like that. Like, I'm going to be friends with that guy, you know?
Yep.
And that's how it was back then. But now, you know, I think it's time for that. I think there's that interest. There's a lot of really fresh, cool bands that are popping up right now.
Yeah.
And I'm thankful that I know that because of my day job. I work artist relations for a guitar case company called Enki.
Oh,
and
cool.
All the time I'm seeing new artists, new groups that I never heard of, that are young kids that are like impressive, and it's making me very excited for the future. And all of this correlates to what you were saying, like it's time for that resurgence, and I think people are, you know, kids are excited to make music with their friends again.
Yeah, and I wonder if some of that has to do with, because it was such a big thing when we were growing up. I mean, really, really huge. A lot of us are getting older and having kids. And so, like, that never really left for a lot of us. Like, maybe it faded for some people a little bit, but I think a lot of us are like, hey, kids, check out CKY. Hey, kids, check out Killswitch Engage. Like, check out that. Like, I know I am, and it's my kids. I don't know. There must be something somewhat genetic, because my wife is like way bigger into like the country side of things. I love that stuff, but she's the one who feeds it to me. She's like, check this band out or check this guy out. And
That's good.
And so I like don't have to do the hard work. She's doing it for me. She doesn't really like heavy music the way I do. And so it's interesting because watching how the kids respond to different things they have no preconceived notions for what anything is, right? They're just like, music that mom and dad are showing me. That's all they have. And to see how their eyes kind of light up when they hear down-tuned, distorted guitars.
They're like, what is
they're like,
that?
What's that? That's cool. I like that. I was like showing them like Knocked Loose recently, and they're like, dude, yeah, let's go. And they were loving it.
There's something in our DNA. Like when you just get that low and that filthy, everybody just like, our blood goes like, ugh. You know?
But in a
that
good
stink
way.
face.
Yeah, you can't help it. I love that meme when the riff comes back slower and heavier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like universal, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And so it's funny because my wife's like, they're just going to be just like you. Like, they're just going to want to listen to all this screaming, yelling stuff. I'm like, yeah, it seems to be that way. It seems to be trending that
We're
direction.
in a screaming, yelling world right now, Mom. You know what I'm saying? Like,
there's a lot to scream.
I kind of want to go scream a little bit myself, to be fair.
Yeah. Well, I do sometimes. Right where I'm standing.
Yeah. It's good.
Yeah.
Get it out.
Hey, Rocky.
What's up, Vincent?
Did you hear about the latest?
Latest what?
The latest drop from Maris. It's totally insane.
No, tell me more.
Maris just released Enzo X.
What's that?
Enzo X is a supernova expansion from the original Enzo into the highest quality and most flexible studio synthesizer ever created in a pedal format.
Whoa!
Enzo X combines 5 synth types, 5 drives, 3 reverbs, and 5 modulations. It also includes a full 2.5 second stereo delay, all in one pedal.
That sounds hard to use.
It's not. The UI is from the same family as the Mercury X and the LVX. It's super easy to dive in and see exactly what you are tweaking in real time.
Oh, I see. It's right there on the screen.
Yep.
Is it just for guitars, though?
Nope. You can plug almost anything into the Enzo X, including your MIDI controller.
That sounds incredible. Where do I get it?
You can pick up Enzo X online at maris.us or at any of their fine retailers across the globe.
Did you just say across the globe?
They know what I meant.
Wait, are we getting paid for this?
I'm still waiting on that cash money from last time.
He better at least give us pizza for dinner.
I'm not giving him his Enzo X back until he does.
For more information, make sure you check out maris.us, and apparently I have to go order a pizza. How exactly do artists get their music on Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer, Tidal, all these services? How in the world do you get your music there? Well, in the past, you had to use something called a record label. But these days, you can use DistroKid. DistroKid is the absolute easiest way to get your music up on streaming services, and it's the most affordable way to do so. Not only do plans start at $22.99 for the entire year, that's less than $2 a month, DistroKid also does not take a cut of your streaming revenue, unlike some other services out there. Even better if you sign up by going to tonemob.com/distrokid. That's tonemob.com/distrokid. One more time, that's tonemob.com/distrokid. You'll get 30% off. That's right, 30% off their already extremely reasonable prices. So go to tonemob.com/distrokid and get your music out there. We are brought to you today by Sweetwater, specifically the Gear Exchange. You may have heard about this. This is a place where you can go to buy and sell your used gear. Maybe you got a pedal over there that's just kind of collecting dust. Maybe there's something you've been eyeing from the Sweetwater catalog. Well, right now is a great time to turn that unused gear into something you're actually going to use. Even better, if you sell on the Gear Exchange, you can keep 100% of the sale as long as you choose a Sweetwater gift card as your payout method. That is not too shabby because, let's be honest, most of this buying and selling we do is just to fund new gear purchases, and that is a great way to reach a wide variety of customers and keep 100% in your pocket, or rather on your pedal board. So go check out the Sweetwater Gear Exchange and turn that unused gear into something that's actually going to help you write that next huge riff. So since I've tricked everyone into thinking this is a gear show for so long, maybe we'll dive into that a little bit. Like, what was your first, this is my good instrument? Because everybody kind of starts out with something and we all probably remember it, but there's also the one where you're like, I've arrived.
Yeah, this is what I want to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, do you remember that?
Well, yeah, I mean, my first bass I mentioned earlier, that was like a wow moment, but it wasn't like, I was like still trying stuff out at that point. Mm-hmm. And I was listening to a lot of, Chili Peppers, Rage, and everything, and I'm seeing everybody playing these P basses. And I was like, what is that? Something that looks cool and it all sounds great, like, Rush. Mm-hmm. I loved Primus too. Les is in a whole different universe.
Yes, love
when
it.
it comes to like instruments. But my first real bass was a Fender like PJ hybrid.
Okay,
and
nice.
I loved it. It had a maple neck. I still have it. It's actually at my pop's house down in Tampa. But it's got the maple neck. It's a U.S. made in Corona, California. Black body with a black pick guard. Just a gorgeous instrument. And that was like, I saved up my money and I bought it. It was like $1,300, when I was like 17. And
that's a lot of money at that age.
Mm-hmm. Boy, I was doing some work,
Yeah.
I was working my ass off for that thing.
Mm-hmm.
So when I bought it, it was like you open the case and you see like that light, that golden light.
Mm-hmm.
That is that bass for me.
You got to put it in perspective for some people because they may not realize this is back in the day where you could still find a car for $300 that you could drive for a while.
I did, and I did that too.
I did too, yeah. So yeah. There's pedals that are a lot more than that now, but back in the day, yeah, you could get a vehicle. So
yeah, I mean, my first bass was like one of those package basses where you buy the bass and it comes with a cable and it comes with a strap and a little 10-watt amplifier, and the whole shebang was like $300 maybe.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I bought that at a Mars Music on Dale Mabry Boulevard in Tampa, Florida.
There you go.
And I mean, yeah, they did the job. I still have that bass too. Mm-hmm. It's like, I think it's a Yamaha. It's like a Yamaha box bundle pack. And then now I go back and I play it and I'm like, this is incredible. Like the neck profile, I was like, this is a killer bass.
Yamaha makes great stuff.
I had no idea. And I had no brand. This was before I knew what brand I liked. It was just like the affordable one. Like, let's try it. Mm-hmm. I was running through instruments kind of left and right in my house. My parents were kind of trying to help me find my identity as a musician. But now I pick up that thing and I can fly on that thing. The neck profile is so nice and thin, and it's just like, it could probably use some better pickups. But like, I put some fresh strings on that thing during the quarantine days, and I was flying on that sucker, man. Like it was really cool. I was like, no wonder I got into bass. Like, this is a killer first attempt at playing it.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So along with that Fender, I mean, I'm sure that the 10-watt amp didn't keep up with you for very long. What did you graduate to?
I ended up getting like one of those combos, like it was like a Fender combo. It's like 120 watt maybe, you know, but I had that thing. I might still have it.
Yeah.
I might still have it somewhere. But that thing, between that Fender, the bass, the Jazz PJ, and that Bassman combo, thousands of hours, dude. Thousands of hours between those things. And yeah, that combo, that gear combo was, you know, what really helped me sink my teeth into being a bass player.
Yeah. Did you ever think about, you know, like branching over to the guitar a little bit more? I mean, obviously I see a bunch of basses behind you. You are a bass player, but
all basses, baby.
I am a guitar player, but I have 5 basses or something. Like I love playing bass. I think it's a lot of fun. I'm not very good at it, but I like it a lot. I feel like there's always a little cross-pollination, though. Do you find yourself going in that direction?
Like in your situation, I always feel like guitar players always have a bass around, you know, and that transition is a little bit better, I think, or easier. And when you're playing your bass, I would imagine you probably play it with a pick. Or
I go back and forth.
You branch out? Good for you. Good for you, dude. Tell everybody that it's okay to play bass with your fingers.
It is okay.
All
to play
guitar
bass with
players
your
out there, you can play with your fingers. It's okay.
Yeah, I like to do, but it just depends on what sound I'm going for.
Cool. That's the right answer. Good job, dude. But personally, for me, I started off. Remember, I said I started off with a guitar, and something about playing with a pick really just crosses my streams. I don't know what the hell's going on with that, but I did put the bass down for a little while because I got kind of bored. I don't know if I got bored. It was like a weird moment in my life because I was trying to play in bands and there was only a couple bass players and I would play, but I got to a point where I was like, every guitar player is in like 3 bands.
Okay.
Like, maybe I need to play guitar. And it was that same year that I had discovered Children of Bodom. And I was like, what is this? What is this? And Alexi's flying around, and I'm like, I didn't know you could make those noises with a guitar or anything. Like, what is happening? And then I would try to play along, and at the time, I don't feel this way now, but at the time I was like, the bass is boring in Children of Bodom. I want to do what that, I want a whammy bar, and
yeah, let's go.
So I put the bass down for a little while, and I went and I bought myself. This was actually my first introduction to ESP as a company.
Okay.
And because of Alexi, I saw he had his signature, which was like, you know, the flying V style, the arrow now they would call it, the offset V. And I couldn't afford that. So I really meticulously looked, and I was like, what guitar does LTD provide that has like similar characteristics of that, but it's not $1,700. And I found a Kirk Hammett signature that had like the EMG HZ pickups, neck pickup, bridge pickup with a selector switch, and a floating bridge. And I was like, that's good enough for me for now. So I just like slopped my way through playing some shoddily played Children of Bodom riffs on that thing for a while. And I played guitar, for a little while. And during that time was when I found the Absence guys, and I met my singer, Jamie. And he didn't I was playing guitar in a band at the time, and he didn't know that I played bass until one night we were like, you know, in the garage smoking some weed. And my buddy was there, and they were like, let's do a jam. So I had an acoustic bass and a couple other acoustic guitars, and I brought it out, and I was playing bass. And he was like, what, you play bass? I didn't know you played bass. I thought you played guitar. And I was like playing like Anesthesia, you know, from Metallica on bass. And he was like, what is happening? And literally he was like, you play bass. The Absence needs a bass player. Learn these 3 songs and come practice. And if you're good, we can come on tour with us. And that ended up being a Metal Blade tour. So that's what happened, you know.
Wow.
And I went, and that's when I was like, okay, guitar was fun, a nice experiment, but I have an opportunity to tour with a bass. So that's what I did. I went back to the bass, and I never really looked back. I mean, I've played a couple times since then on a guitar. My buddy Dino Cazares gave me a guitar to like mess around with, and then I was like, nah, back to the bass. Like, I'm a bass player, man. You know, I leave the noodles to everybody else. You know, and I don't mind that.
Maybe that's why I like the bass so much, because basically I just do like, I'm not good at the wheedly weeds and the leads and the stuff. I'm just making chuggy riffs the whole time. So
yeah,
maybe that's why I'm like, I find myself, it's weird. And it's in the last few years, when I go into a music store, half the time the things I'm like drawn to are basses. Like last time I was in one of my favorite stores here in Portland, Paradise, they have this vintage telly bass. And I'm like, why do I want that? I want that a lot.
It's calling to you.
I want that.
Join us.
I
The
don't
world
need
needs
it,
more bass players.
but I want it.
Well, that's usually how it works, anyways.
Yeah. So, and it happened a few times. I bought a Orville like Thunderbird bass there, and then got this really weird Epiphone ET280. It's like a 70s kind of Wilshire shaped bass that I love to death. It was like
Cool.
$600, and it rips. It's so good.
Hell yeah.
And it looks cool. But yeah, something about the bass. I think it's there's some overlap with bass playing and just dun 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 type of riffs. So
Nothing does it better.
Yeah.
That's like our whole job, you know? Like taking the note value and synchronizing it with the drum hits. That's a bass. That's the bass's job.
Yes. Yes.
It's our job to chunk.
Yes.
Chunk, 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 chunk.
Yep. And in every genre, really. That's just what it does. It's the best. It's fantastic. Love it.
Yeah.
So I think if we're taking anything out of the story, kids, if you guys are listening, the answer is you should probably smoke weed in the garage with your friends so you can go on a world tour. Is that what we're getting at?
In only so many words? Go ahead and try. Yeah. Yeah.
See,
it worked for me.
It might work for you, too.
I learned from watching you, Dad.
That's right.
That's awesome.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah.
So you mentioned you've got the project doing AR. That is a unique job. You want to talk about that a little bit? Because I think a lot of people listening to this fall into the A part of that category, and they're not really sure how they would go about getting support from somebody like yourself. Like, what do you look for when you're looking for that those type of people?
Well, I didn't seek. I guess it's interesting because I never thought that I would be in this position. It's not something that I was like, I think I one day would like to do that. But until recently, after, I would say maybe after probably, I don't know, 13, 14 years of doing this professionally as my main, life source of income and just passion. I've been fortunate enough to be able to work with a ton of killer companies in my career. And really what I started to learn is that what separates like a good company from a great company is their artist relations and how they serve the artists. Because you could have a great product, and this has happened to me, several times. A product that I love, that I had my sights set on, and maybe they would cut me a deal and be like, cool, man, I'm part of the family. But then you're a small fish in a big sea. And you may not get that support that you need. And I understand how that could be because we have a very large roster as well. But what I've learned from that is like everybody needs their time. If they're reaching out to you because they love your product, you should embrace that and you should showcase that. Which is all I ever wanted as an artist. I wanted, it's cool to get stuff for free or on a discount, whatever. But what I want to do as an artist personally is align myself with the companies that I love. You know, this is what you like what I do and you like how I sound. If I wasn't using these things specifically, it wouldn't be possible. You know, and I thought that was really cool. And I was like, you know, I've been really lucky to have some of the most incredible artist relations reps in my career. Like, shout out to my dude Tony Rouser at ESP. He's a stellar option there, or not option, but he's a stellar example of that. Before him was Chris Canella, another fantastic guy. You know, my dude Lauren Arduder over at Dark Glass and now Neural DSP. Like, some of these guys, really, like, I was like, man, you're like a real person. You're not just like some guy. You play, you get it, you know, and everybody gets a slice of the cake, which is really important. So eventually I found myself kind of curious. Like, I think I would like to do that because I've been on the road. I know what artists need. You know, I like the challenge of thinking like logistic wise, how things like, oh, I'm in Germany and my truss rod snapped, which is a real true story. Like,
we'll have to talk about that.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Like, how can I solve this? And, you know, thanks to the awesome team at ESP, I was 2 phone calls away, and then there was a replacement bass on its way to me the next day. You know, and it was like, all right, that's how you take care of an artist. And, you know, I'm not like the biggest guy. I'm not in Metallica, but I play the same company as the guys that play in Metallica. So they take care of everybody the same. Super important to me, and that's what inspired me to want to do that for a company. And Enki kind of, it's an incredible product that I endorsed before I started working here since 2017. And thanks to Tony again, he was who put me on to the company when they came around, because the whole industry needed like a multi-guitar case that was, you know, compact and easily travelable. You could check it on the flights. You could throw it in a trailer. You could wheel it on a stage, and your instruments are working condition. What a concept! Like, shout out to Dave Kronk. He invented something that the entire industry has needed for years. And that's why the product, you'll see it at every single concert that you can go to. You go to a festival, there will be a wall of Enkis there, because it's just that important of a product. So, and I saw that, and I kind of was like, man, this is incredible. I want to meet that guy and say, like, what makes him tick. You know, he's like the Elon Musk of guitar cases. You know, I was like, how did you think of that? And, you know, we met in his state of Montana, went and had some barbecue, and I picked his brain, and I was like, wow, this is a really cool company. And we kept in touch. And I was like, I liked how we could go back and forth with ideas, you know, and he was really open to he was like, so what do you like about the case? What do you not like? Like, what would you change if you could? And he was really receptive to that. And then I saw him implementing the changes that we discussed. And, you know, he was that way with every one of his artists and clients. And I was like, this is cool. I really want to check this out. But they didn't have an artist relations person. And that was what planted the seed in my mind. I think I could do really well in that position. And eventually, over the course of time, we kept in touch. I came up with an idea for Enki to partner with another company that I love called Richter Straps. Shout out to Lars Richter. I was working with both of them, and I had the kind of similar situations with both. I was like, this dude invented something really killer. This dude's really killer at what he does with the straps. Like, they're both in this weird position where they were at trade shows, but not like taking full advantage of it. And I was like, both of you guys have like the best players in the industry. You know, they've got signature straps with Lars. They're knocking at the door constantly for Enkis because they need all this high quality equipment to do what they do. Like, why don't we combine forces and do like a shared artist signing event? Like, I'll put it together. We have Richter come in, we have Enki come in, and create a cool event. So we did that in 2023. And it went off with flying colors, dude. We had an incredible signing event at NAMM, and both of the guys were like, great job. And Dave, you know, I was working more so on the Dave, because like Lars has a team, but I was working on Enki's behalf for the most part. And after that, Dave was like, you want the job, you got it. Like, so I trained, and in the spring of 2024, I started as the director of artist relations for Enki. And it's been incredible. I've met some incredible people, and gotten to help a lot of my peers and my friends, get support that they need. And it's everything that I was hoping for. Here it is.
That's very cool. Yeah, that's a very interesting story. Yeah, the NAMM, that's a whole can of worms in and of itself, right? Like,
yes, it is.
I feel like every time that comes up with anybody that's been in regular attendance for a while, the question that always comes up is, so you're going to do NAMM this year? Every year. It used to
see
be
you at NAMM.
It used to be, I'll see you at NAMM. And now it's like, are you going this year? So like, well, are you going this year?
Yeah, always. I love NAMM. Like, I know that there's folks out there that are like, oh my God. I get it, dude. It's tough. But my favorite, the part about it that's so enticing to me is that it's an event that the entire world and the entire industry, it's not like a concert where like, oh, what would you say? Oh, Black Sabbath's playing. Cool. There's people out there that don't like Black Sabbath or like don't want to travel to go see them. NAMM is like an event that every genre, every artist, and now they've opened it to the public too, so you can attend. NAMM is like an event like no other because it brings literally everybody together. And it kind of blurs that line between like fan and artist and rep. It's just everybody's kind of hanging out, and you can walk up to some of your favorite people and say like, dude, I'm a huge fan. Can I shake your hand, take a photo? All of that. And for me, I've made a million like friends in this industry, and that's the best place to go and see them all, see them all. And you get to check out all the coolest new gear that everybody's showcasing. That's the whole point. Is to showcase, for companies to showcase what they've been working on and what they have available now. And you get to put hands on it and ask the questions and meet the rep, see behind the curtain. It's the only time you're going to be able to do that. You really get to learn a company the best if you can attend NAMM.
I think what I like about it the most is, so I like, my answer to that is always like, I'm always going. Like, I'm always going to be there.
Right.
We're a little up in the, we're not up in the air this year. We're definitely showing, like, I'm part of Stringjoy. And
cool.
so we're definitely showing this year, but every year we start to go like, should we just go instead? Should we just go and hang? Should we show? And we always default to, all right, we'll do the booth again.
You twisted my arm.
Yeah, all right. Here's $20,000.
Yeah, it's an expensive party.
Yeah. But it's not just, if you just go, it's not that bad, right?
Right.
But then if everybody just goes and there's no booth, then there's no show. So it's kind of like it's a weird catch-22 that we find ourselves in. But I also really, like, I find myself sort of being like, oh no, here we go. But once I have boots on the ground, I'm like, yes, this is great. I'm so excited.
No, I'm like the opposite. I'm like, I look forward to it. Like it's like a family affair, like I'm going to see all my friends. I'm going to go talk to all my reps. Like, I love it.
Yeah.
And then I get there and the days just fly by and I'm like, shaking a million hands. Like, hey, how's it going? And then I like have to like pull myself away and be like, I need to go check out this new piece of gear. Or I need to go check out, like, say hi to these people over here.
Stevie Wonder's here. We got to go see him.
Yeah, yeah.
He's always there. Stevie Wonder's always there.
This is funny. This is the second podcast I've done talking about Stevie Wonder at NAMM. It's like a thing. It's a thing.
It's one of those things where you just wouldn't think that somebody of his level would need to be there every year or want to be there every year, especially this deep into his career, but he must just love it because he's there every year. He must love it.
It's fun, dude. If you find something that you enjoy about it, it can be very enjoyable. It sucks, you're going to stand and you're going to do 20,000 steps in a day and your legs are going to fall off, after 3 days of it. But I actually miss when it used to be 4 days because now it's in 3 days and it's like I miss that fourth day because that fourth day when everybody's like kind of run down, that's when I go and I run and I go, check out all my gear. Everybody's home already. I'm like, oh, finally. Like, I checked out the Quad Cortex on the Sunday because everybody had already out of juice by then.
Yeah, I'm out of juice by Sunday. I'm kind of glad to be flying home, to be honest. Yeah. But I do like it. What I like most about it is it really feels like when I'm sure you can relate to this, when you're in your day-to-day and you're talking to other people that have more quote-unquote normal jobs, it almost feels like it's a little, they have a little bit of a harder time relating to you. It's like, I don't go into an office and do that. You know, I don't go to a construction site and do that anymore. Like it's a kind of a weird thing. But when you go to NAMM, everybody gets it. It's a lot of weirdos in one place that all get it.
Love it.
And you don't have to explain anything. You know, I don't have to like modulate my response to like, what do you do? Because used to be, it's not so bad anymore because people kind of know what podcasts are. But there was a time, because I've been doing it since 2015, where people would be like, what's a podcast? And I'd have to explain the whole thing. And that was like more than I was wanting to do sometimes. So
especially over and over and over again over the course of a day and a weekend. It's like, how many times can you tell the same story?
Yeah, and then they're still confused. But now I can say it and people pretty much get what that means.
It's all in one word. Oh, I'm a podcaster. And it's like, oh, cool.
Yeah. And they're like, you're a white guy in your 30s. Of course you are.
Yeah,
like,
makes sense. Sick. You want to check out our new gear?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Hello there. I'd like to introduce you to your new best friend, the Chase Bliss Audio Lossy. Lossy is a collaboration between Chase Bliss and Good Hertz. And it's meant to give you some control over those weird digital artifacts that come with very compressed audio. You're hearing it right now. All the changes that are taking place are strictly coming from my playing dynamics. I'm just interacting with the pedal and letting it do its thing. In some true stereo goodness. If you'd like some more details about Lossy, I'd invite you to head over to chaseblissaudio.com. I think you're going to like what you find.
So I want to segue back a little bit. How did the ESP deal happen for you?
Well, it was back in 2007 when I started playing with The Absence. Mm-hmm. I did my first tour with that Fender bass that I was telling you about earlier, because that's all I had.
Yeah.
Actually, I had gone to a Sam Ash back when that was still around, and I bought a backup because I was like, what happens if something happens, you know? Mm-hmm. And I bought an F bass, like an F series, like a 104, like the lowest $300 model. It was like super cool, like all sharp and pointy. I have one back there. You can't see it on camera, but it was like a black bass, and I was like, yeah, black bass. It looked all metal. And I was playing in like the metal band and stuff. So I had that one. And the other guys in The Absence were endorsed. Well, one of them was, the guitar player was endorsed by ESP. Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, I like this bass, but I know that they have better basses, and I really want to try out that Tom Araya signature series. So he put me in touch with his rep. At the time, it was a gentleman named Mark Ma. Shout out to Mark Ma and Alan Steelgrave. Rest in peace. That was the team that was.
What a great name! Jeez,
yeah,
that's
Alan
amazing.
Steelgrave.
That's sick.
Yeah. He's a legend too, absolute legend. And they gave me my first deal through that. Back then, it was like 2 LTDs during the term of the agreement, which I believe was a year or 2 years. And so I got 2 of the Tom Araya signatures, and I played that for years with The Absence for the next probably 5 years, or at least when we were touring. And then I would keep getting a couple more basses, and I was like, dude, ESP's my company, and I loved it. They had like the Surveyor was their like P bass kind of style, and I have one of those there. And then over the course of a few years, the titles changed over there, and my buddy Chris Cannella ended up taking over for Alan, because Alan had gone to Schecter, and Chris Cannella took over as my artist rep at ESP. and at that point I was playing in Havok, and Havok was a little bit busier. We were doing a lot more like higher profile stuff, and that album that we did had a lot of like critical acclaim. So that was when I got my first ESP, like my first Japanese ESP. I still have it right there. I called it Old Yeller.
Nice.
Like the dog, because it's yellow, and it's like it's a vintage 4, which is another PJ style, like Japanese handmade ESP. And I loved that. And so that was my Havok bass for a while. And then I started playing a Tommy Stinson signature, which is also kind of like a PJ style, but with like a cool, like a tortoise shell pick guard, which I removed and put on a white pick guard. So it was like an off-white body with a yellow or a white pick guard, and it kind of looked like a Steve Harris. I wanted it to be like my Steve Harris bass. And so I had played those all through Havok. And then when I moved to Soulfly, I went from playing in standard E with my P basses to playing in standard B and A tunings with Max, super low. So those basses weren't cutting it because they were set up for, I had like the string gauge was so drastically different. I went from like a low 100 to like a low 125, and then I would have to get like nut adjustments and all that. So then I started playing the F series again, but a 5-string. It was the first time I ever played a 5-string. And that was when Tony was in the position over at ESP. And I was playing these 5 strings, and I wasn't really liking it so much, because like when you hit the 5th string, everything kind of like the neck is a little bit wider, but there's just more. So the string spacing in between, I was like kind of struggling with that, and I didn't really like it, and I was having like tonal issues because I was used to like a really tight like standard E. And then it was like kind of down a loose, like longer scale length B or A, and I was like, God, I was struggling. And then they came out with, I think it was 2017, they came out with the B series, which is what you see behind me. Almost every, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them behind me. And when I got those, I was like, oh my God, this is it. Like I found my identity as like refound my identity as a bass player tonally, and like they were a little bit longer scale length. They had these Nordstrand pickups in them. They were handling like the Soulfly tuning really well. They sliced through the mix. I was like, oh my God, thank you so much. This is what I needed. So I played the B series for a while and fell in love with it. And eventually, that was right around the time where I was with the company for about 15 years. And I was like, I've been here for a while. I love these B series. I got a really cool idea for a custom. And since I've been here for so long, maybe it's like a good time to do that. I think I got a really cool idea. So I Tony gave me the permission, and I developed my custom, which is the same B series, but I had them sandblast the body and the headstock, which had not ever, I guess, been done at ESP. So it has like this really cool wood grain, and it's all black, because the B series were all like kind of like wood grain color, like wood colored, stained wood, some of them. But the black one was dipped after it was sandblasted, and had a brass nut, so that was like super locked in. And it was like, that was my bass, and that was standard E. I used that for the Cavalera tours when we were playing Beneath the Remains and Arise from Sepultura. That's all in standard tuning. So that thing handled it.
That's all in standard tuning?
Isn't that crazy?
I don't know what to do with that information.
You can be heavy in E standard. Go listen to Beneath the Remains and Arise from Sepultura.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. My whole world is just flipped upside down. All right. Okay.
Crazy. So that was my bass for that era. And I guess it came out really sick. So the folks over at ESP were like, that was a cool design. Maybe we can make it into a signature model, because I had been there since 2007.
It's a long time.
This was 2020 or 21. Yeah, it was 20. So it was like a COVID bass. I remember getting approved. We were sitting in the bus in Secaucus, New Jersey, playing the Gramercy Theater in New York, and I was on the phone with Tony when I got approved for the signature. For the custom. And then it took almost a whole year because of COVID. And then when the custom came out, I was back home in Tampa, and I got the call from Tony again. And I was only dating my wife at the time, but she was there on the phone, you know, in the room with me, and he was like, you know, hey, we're gonna make this your signature model. Are you down? And I was like,
Yeah.
of course, like that's what everybody wants, you know, when they start playing music. And so, yeah, they made it into my signature model, and that released in 2022 or no, 2023, I believe. Yeah, because we're in 2 years now. It started in 2022, and we did like it was pretty much the custom, except what we did this time was extended the scale length by 1 inch, because I wanted to play a 4-string, but in like 5-string tonal tuning territory, because I didn't like the 5 strings, remember? So I designed a 4-string with a longer scale length to handle lower tunings and higher gauge strings with a nice tension. And it was how the MLB4 was born.
Very cool.
And yeah, it's a 36-inch scale length, B series, sandblasted. You know, we call it the Black Blast. That's like my signature finish. And yeah, it's been my go-to bass ever since. You know, I have a few of them back here now. And what a trophy, you know, to have on the top of everything else.
That's awesome. Yeah, I can relate to like the multi-string thing. Like a lot of people think, because I talk about like drop tuning and all the time, and I have a 7-string and I have a great ESP LTD M1008 8-string.
The M series is nice.
Yeah, it's very, very nice. Thanks, Sweetwater. Love you guys. And that thing is a ripper, but it did make me realize, I'm like, you know what I really like? I like long 6 strings. I like baritone 6 strings.
Sixes, dude.
Yeah, that's where my heart really lies, I think, for drop tuning. Like after kind of I'm like, because I was thinking, oh, maybe I need to try a 9 after that, and then after living with the 8 for a while, I was like, nope, this is great. This is awesome, and I'm gonna keep playing it for certain things. It's got the fluences in it and all this stuff. But I'm like, yeah, I think I'm a baritone 6-string guy for my drop tunings. I think that's good. I know what to do with that. I'm much more competent on something like that.
For me, it's the tension and the strings. Like I just feel like with a longer scale length and the right gauge, you really can get that snappy responsiveness out of the strings that you need without it getting too flubby and like loose. I can't do the loose strings.
Yeah, I don't like the loose either. I grew up playing. I was always breaking strings, and I didn't know why. I was breaking 9s because that's what the guitar came on the guitar. Yeah. I'm like, I think I put 9s on it. I don't know. No one's telling me how to do any of this, and I'm playing like a gorilla and snapping not anything consistently, different string in a different place every time, right? Just breaking. And so I was like, maybe I just need bigger ones. That was my solution. And that worked. But then I've been playing 11s on standard tuning for my whole life. So now nines feel terrible to me.
It's too small.
Yeah. Of course, if I was shredding, maybe I'd feel differently. But like for doing what I do, I like at least a 10 or 11.
I know a lot of shredders that still go for 11s up there because like you know, like you said, when you're getting up in there and you're digging in, sometimes those 9s just can't handle it. You know, that little extra gauge really can keep that thickness and that tension.
Well, when I get excited, I start trying to strangle my guitar. And
as
so
is
I'll
tradition.
Push it out of tune if it's too light a gauge. Like I'll push it way out of tune. And so I'm just like, let's just, you're obviously not going to change. Let's just lean into it. Yeah. Let's just go with that.
Go with it.
Yeah. Well, Mike, we are sitting at the hour mark. I still have to ask you the 2 classic questions that I ask everybody on this podcast. But before I do that, I'd like to give you the chance to take the floor. You can plug anything you want to plug. You can shout out anybody you want to shout out. The floor is yours right now.
It's a beautiful floor. Mm-hmm. Thanks for having me on. And we got a new single for CKY, Can't Stop Running. It's got a music video. We've got some tours in Australia and the U.S. coming up in 2026. We'll see you at Sonic Temple in Columbus, Ohio.
Oh, yeah.
And, shout out to all my sponsors who make the dream happen. You know, ESP, Richter Straps, Enki, of course, Neural DSP, Temple Boards, CTM with these lovely monitors.
Oh, thank you for making this podcast happen.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for the support, and check
Very
it
cool.
out.
All right, final questions. First one, and it's weird. We didn't talk about pedals at all. Maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll do another episode.
Yeah,
what is your favorite Boss pedal?
My favorite Boss pedal? The ODB, baby.
Yeah.
The ODB-3. That's an easy one.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, back when I first started playing bass in heavier bands and I was trying to get that extra chunk, that was the one that did it for me. The ODB-3. And then, of course, if you want to get the classic type O negative Peter Steele tone, you put one of those super choruses next to that bad boy, and that's a Peter Steele recipe.
There you
Delicious.
go. Very nice. Very nice. Good polls. Those are good polls, both of them. All right, final question. What is your favorite kind of pizza?
Whoa. I got a hot take here. Nobody's going to like it.
Okay, I'm ready.
Pepperoni pineapple.
It's not as hot of a take as you'd think. I've heard that one a lot, actually.
Dude, pineapple on pizza, like, I've seen people, like, square up for that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
But I mean, I love all pizzas. Like, truly, like a strong runner-up would be Italian sausage, mushroom, and olives.
That's more my style.
But I wouldn't deny it. Like, wouldn't deny an anchovy pepperoni either. Those are my top threes. I go everywhere.
I feel like I have to explain this every time. I am an anti-pineapple on pizza pineapple on pizza guy, but that is because I am, generally speaking, an anti-pineapple guy. I don't like pineapple. So some people like pineapple and they don't like it on pizza. I just don't like it. The only place I like pineapple is you have to have pineapple juice to marinate al pastor. You have to. There's no other way. So I love al pastor, but I don't like it when the tacos come with chunks of pineapple in it. I won't get those out of there. That's too much. I get you got to marinate it, but let's not go too far.
Got to go to a Brazilian steakhouse, a churrascaria called Fogo de Chao.
I've been there. Yeah.
You know how they come out with the giant sword with the pineapple with all the cinnamon on it? That's not for you either?
That's not for me. No.
Good. And then I'll go with you, and it's more for me. Then.
All right. I like that. That's a fair trade.
I think the whole damn thing right off the sword like a barbarian.
You know what? They'll bring you as much as you want, too.
I know.
They'll never
take
stop.
Full advantage.
Yes. That place is fun. Yes. Yeah. All right. Well, Mike, thanks for hanging out, man. We will slide over to Patreon and see what kind of shenanigans we can get into, if that works for you.
I love shenanigans.
Cool. All right, everybody. For Mike, this is Blake. And as always, folks, good luck and good tones. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for hanging out. Again, this is a reminder. If you want to get weird with it, $5 a month will get you access to the Patreon feed, and it really, truly helps a lot. And Mike and I get kind of crazy on this one. So make sure you check out Mike on the social medias. Come say hi to us at NAMM. We'll both be there and all that good stuff. Oh, yes, and one more thing. I have to give a big thank you to everybody who has been checking out Tape Spaghetti. I made a post about this, and we talked about it on a recent episode. The Spotify stats for that show, Tape Spaghetti, are going nuts. They do a Wrapped for creators just like they do for artists and listeners, and here's a couple interesting little tidbits. Your show is in the top 10% of videos on Spotify. It was a 2025 marathon show. Fans listened to you for longer than 95% of other shows. And an instant 2025 hit show. Your debut season was more popular than 97% of other shows, because that is obviously still relatively new podcast. And finally, a 2025 talked about show. You received more comments, because that's kind of a new thing that Spotify does, than 98% of other shows. This is astounding. Scott and I are absolutely so stoked that you guys are listening to it and enjoying it. I'm getting a lot of messages about that thing. So if you could check out Tape Spaghetti wherever you are listening to this podcast, it would really, really mean the world. I think you're really going to enjoy the weird musical content over there. All right, everybody, without further ado, let's get you out of here so you can get on to other things. I appreciate you. Have a good one. One last thing before we totally sign off here. I just want to remind you that if you do any shopping at Stringjoy, that's Stringjoy guitar strings made in Nashville, that will help me out as well. As I've said for years, I'm heavily involved in that company, and I really do think they're making the best products on the market. So if you would like to try custom strings, go to tonemob.com/stringjoy and check them out today. I seriously love what the team down there is doing. I help them out with all kinds of things, and by you supporting them, you are also supporting me as well. And hey, you need some strings, so why not get some custom strings just for your guitar and playing style? Again, the link for that is tonemob.com/stringjoy, and that will take you right to their website, and you can do all your shopping through there, and that will help everyone involved out. So thank you very much. Talk to you next time. We are brought to you by the wonderful folks at Gun Street Wiring Shop. Yes, Gun Street Wiring Shop. I've talked about them before. I used to say based out of Bend, Oregon, but guess what? Sean moved to my neck of the woods. Sean's in Portland. Sean is awesome and has helped me with a bunch of stuff lately. And if you have wiring needs for your guitar, he can help you too. If you want to get weird with it, he can get weird. If you just need to spruce things up a little bit, there's your guy. He takes all the guesswork out of doing your guitar wiring, and he makes it simple, and his customer service is top-notch, and I can't say enough good things about Gun Street as a company. I really respect Sean and what he's all about, and the product is top-notch. I've got 3 different guitars that now have Gun Street harnesses in them, and I could not be happier. So go to gunstreetwiringshop.com and check them out.